Greetings and welcome to the Mount Rushmore podcast. My name is Jeff and joined as always by my good buddies Richard.
Hello.
And Michael.
Howdy.
Richard and Michael debate and deliberate the most ubiquitous aspects of a variety of topics. This time around, it's a little bit bittersweet. We're celebrating a good run here at the Criswell Studios in North Hollywood, California with the Cemetery View.
Do we have, are we allowed to play Closing Time at the end, or is that going to get yanked?
No, it's Time of Your Life.
Time of Your Life.
By
I was
Green
gunning
Day, yeah.
first.
Also going to get us yanked?
Yes, that as well.
I will remember you. Sarah, stop it. Will you remember? Sarah, please don't. But this is the concluding episode of our recording contract. Our contract is up with the Criswell Studios, and so we will be moving on. But this is a bottle episode where we're going to cut to different scenes from past Mount Rushmore podcast. Hey, do you remember when we talked about the zoo?
Wasn't that crazy that one time? I could have sworn we talked about amnesia, but I've forgotten all about it.
You know, a lot of presidents have interrupted the podcast. Let's have this montage of all the time.
All right. Which one is it?
We're already off to a bad start. This is, we're going to discuss the Mount Rushmore of Moving Day. You guys have moved. You've moved a lot, haven't you? You two?
Not a lot. I moved recently, last year we moved, or back in 2020 into 2020 we moved.
Okay.
So that was that was the first time we had moved in 15 years.
Wow.
Is that right?
So we had been at our old place for a while.
Oh, yeah.
I was thinking of this topic. I chose the topic, by the way. Howdy, guys.
Hello.
Because of Richard's move last year into your new home, and because of Jeff's upcoming move, and my business of operations had recently moved. From one. I don't think I have anything that's like business oriented in this, but it just kind of was the thing that kind of was like, moving is something that kind of touches all of our lives, but I thought I'd try to focus on just that last day. Like the day that you actually go to move. Because the process of moving, like unpacking and setting up your house, that can take anywhere from, weeks to months to sometimes you just never unbox what has been moved into your garage. You're just like, well, this is just coming with me for I don't know how long until the next move. But moving day itself is often, I think, pretty interesting in how you approach it. It can be pretty emotional.
Yeah.
Pretty. Melancholy, and also sometimes it's just great. Sometimes it's like, fuck this place, I am gone. Bye. Dunzo.
Yeah, I think of so many college crappy apartments and crappy living situations that I had.
Oh, yeah, I didn't even think of how definitely college, you're just so transient, like year after year.
Yeah.
It's rare that you're like, I moved here and I'm going to live here for 4 years. It's like, no, I'm in the dorm, and now I'm in like a crappy apartment, and now I'm in an even crappier apartment, slightly farther away from school. You never get closer to school.
Yeah, you always get farther away.
Always moving further and further away for whatever reason.
I think in college, I don't recall any of those places ever feeling like, oh, this is my home. I feel like it's still just this place.
Temporary lodging, yeah.
And I think my endeavor in college was to never sleep there, or to be out doing the wild things, to either burning the midnight oil or, All right, Michael chose it. Richard starts it up.
Sure. So my first choice is on moving day. However many boxes you have bought, you will need 2 to 3 times that many boxes. Yeah. Guaranteed. Yeah. It is impossible to accurately gauge ahead of time how many boxes you need.
Yeah.
I know whenever we moved, this last move a couple of years ago now, I spent weeks making trips to our local Home Depot, which is about a mile away, so it was close. Mm-hmm. But how many boxes do you think we need today? Oh, I don't know, 6. I'd get 6 boxes. About halfway through the day, I'd say, well, there's the last of our 6 boxes. Yeah. And I have to go back to Home Depot. Yeah. Get another 6 boxes.
Wow, fancy pants over here buying boxes, not
Yeah.
just getting them
Dumpster diving.
like behind the Ralphs. Oh my goodness! Oh la wee!
Ooh la la.
Spending money on cardboard boxes for your top hat and monocle. Your stacks of cash. What is this? Buying boxes. Amazing.
Well, some of us,
Hello, you orange-vested twit. Direct me to your finest boxes.
some of us would appreciate if our clothes didn't smell like moldy produce when we get done moving.
Next time, see what a nice used spinach salad wafting around on you. It's like,
But it's in every move I've ever had, there is that kind of panic, whether you're buying boxes or whether you're scavenging for boxes. There is always that panic about we do not have enough boxes.
Yeah.
And big box will get you to buy. These are expensive when you go to Home Depot and you have to buy boxes.
Yeah, that's why you
They're
rip
just
you
stupid
rip them from the
cardboard.
maw of the trash compactor at Best Buy before it crushes you.
Dive in like you're a freaking Indiana Jones trying to rescue a relic.
Do you think that's an interesting aspect of moving, is trying to conceive of all the things that you have and how much volume they're going to take up and how much it's going to take to move them all, and then I think I may be less precious. I pack boxes the way I pack groceries at the grocery store. Just shove everything in the same bag.
Right.
you're not a big labeler. Like it's not like these are the boxes. And,
These go in the kitchen and it says specifically, okay, here's the tamale pot or whatever.
No, I have not. I just kind of schlep everything in.
I love it. I love the chaos of that.
Yeah.
I'm not that way. I'm a labeler. The biggest mistake I make with boxes is trying to put too many books in too big a box.
Oh
yeah.
Sarah does that.
You
Oh,
really
my God.
got to like get small boxes for books and understand it's okay if you have 10 smaller boxes for books that are going to take up the same size and space that like 4 big boxes would take, because you can't lift 97 pounds of books.
Yeah.
No one can.
And that box is going to break.
And the box is going to break, and whatever packing tape you think you have is just not going to hold up. And then you're like, oh my god, like all of my Sue Grafton novels, all the signed ones are all over the pool.
What? Okay. So, how many boxes do you think you used?
Yeah,
do you
good
think
question. Good question.
2 dozen, 3 dozen?
No, I would say we went through 50 to 60 boxes.
Wow.
Seems about right.
Yeah.
Kids have a lot of
It
stuff.
includes the garage, and the kids have a lot of stuff.
Kids have a lot. Like I fear the day we have to pack up my kids' room.
Yeah, there's just a lot of accumulation, which we'll get into.
Okay. All right, Richard, with his buying boxes. Michael, what is your first thing?
I'm gonna stay within the cardboard corrugated realm.
Oh.
And it's on moving day when you just have that one last big box that you just throw everything
Yeah.
The miscellaneous
in.
box.
Big miscellaneous box. It's like, it doesn't matter. Just get it in the box. We've got to get out of here. Just put it in the box.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's not enabled.
Yeah.
It'll get to the house.
It's a cup of coffee with no lid on it that's full. It's a coat hanger. It's
Oh no, the Venus flytrap. There's always a plant in
yeah,
there.
there's a plant.
There's always some weird plant that's
Yeah.
you hope is going to make it over there.
Yeah, that day's newspaper and the dog bowl. Yeah.
There's going to be something important in there that you won't be able to find because it's in the big box. It's going to be cords or like extension cords or like some sort of charger. It's going to be something from the bathroom that you don't need to bring with you.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you don't need the toilet brush.
We'll buy a new one.
We're just
They're
getting- we're
$3.
Getting a new toilet brush. Yeah, move into a new place and 100% bring new toilet brushes and plungers.
Yeah.
Just leave that old shit behind. But like that big box is just it's so key to just being like, just put it in the box. It's okay. We'll sort it out when we get there.
Yeah.
It's like trying to escape from like, I bet they had a big box when they were trying to get out of Vietnam.
It's just one last big box.
You know, they're trying to load the people onto the helicopter, and then there's just
We're under heavy fire. Come on.
Wait a second. We got to get this box in here. It's got my plunger.
It's got all my autographed Anne Margaret photos. That I
Right.
For me, one of the last trips usually involves like your friend's hatchback, and putting a various things, miscellaneous things in just like the front. Like we ran out of boxes. Now this guy's got a lamp, some coat hangers, so a frozen turkey from the fridge.
Oh, that's funny.
Okay. Richard, what's your second one?
All right, my second one is a little bit into what Michael was talking about. It is the realization of how much crap you've accumulated over the years.
Oh yeah,
And just how sad that makes you feel.
yeah.
Not because you miss. In fact, it's the opposite of having a lot of stuff and having to make tough choices about whether or not this stays, or do we give this away, or do we sell. It's all the stuff where you're like, why? Why do I have a McCall's magazine from 1997? How
Yeah.
did this never get thrown away?
Yeah.
Why has this been sitting in my house for? It's been sitting in my house longer than we've lived here. This doesn't make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
And it's just, the more you pack, the more you kind of realize, am I a hoarder? Am I a pack rat? And you have to ask yourself some uncomfortable questions about why, if I'm not, why do I still have all this stuff that I never needed in the first place and just never bothered to get rid of? And the truth is, it's because it was packed away from your last move somewhere in a corner or in a closet or something like that. And you just forgot about it.
Yeah.
Do you think there's a transitive state where items that need to, I think it's almost like Newtonian law, where items at rest
Stay at rest.
Stay at rest, or they seem of value because they're not hurting anybody. It might not be anybody's way. But then when they become items in motion, then all of a sudden, like, I got to move this crap. Like, now you evaluate it for its value, as opposed to it was just kind of in its resting value. Was not that big of a deal.
These bowling balls, these could come in handy. I could start bowling again. I'm never going to start bowling again.
I definitely have somewhere in some box. You mentioned McCall's magazine. I definitely have like a premiere magazine from like 1999 with like the new Star Wars people being introduced, or like the Vanity Fair with like, the Anne Leibovitz.
Yeah.
Like, beautiful shots of like what C-3PO looks like without his coverings on. And it's just like, you just hold on to this stuff because some weird nostalgia. What, you're just going to throw this away? Now you're going to throw it away?
Yeah.
It's been 20-something years. Now this is the thing that breaks your back. And then you're just like, oh, it's just in a box. It's just down there with some other Star Wars magazines.
I do feel like moving like that has traumatized me to the opposite behavior, where as soon as I get something, well, we're not in a room that would prove this out, but almost as soon as I acquire something, I think how quickly I can throw this thing away, get rid of it.
Right.
Like I don't know, just about anything. Like, how can I get this out of my life and into somebody else's hands before it becomes something I have to move?
I'll be in the other room, and Emily will say, "Do we need?" And I'll say, "No."
Nope.
If you have to ask,
looking at it, nope. My kind of default answer is probably not. No, get rid of it.
It's that Marie Kondo moment where you realize this did not spark joy. I didn't even know I had this thing for the last 10 years.
if you have to ask whether or not you need it, you probably don't need it.
All right, Winfield, what's the second?
My second choice is that friend with the truck. Or soccer. There's that guy that you've roped into, who happens to have a truck. Usually it's my dad, to be fair, and he's always been very helpful whenever I've needed to move or whatever. But boy, having a pickup truck is just a calling card for someone to invite you to help carry heavy things and move things awkwardly downstairs.
Yeah.
My last move, I don't think we rented a truck. I guess we must have. We must have rented like a, $24 for the day U-Haul. It didn't move very far, just a couple miles down the road. But like that truck, the pickup truck is always just helpful.
Oh yeah.
It's just you can get so much into it, and it doesn't have that roof. But then you always kind of, it's that halfway feeling bad for your friend who must have either done this a half dozen times by now.
Yeah.
But I don't know. Maybe they like it.
And your grandmother on the rocking chair up there, like, he's like, is she gonna fall off?
I am not sure if you're making a Beverly Hillbillies reference or a Grapes of Wrath reference, but
Yes.
I approve of either one.
I feel for that. I've been eyeballing new vehicles because
Don't get a
mine's.
pickup.
Yeah, and
No,
I'm looking at
never
those
get a
pickups.
pickup, yeah.
I'm looking at those pickups because they're just kind of nice. Because who knows what we might need to do to renovate and stuff. But yeah, I don't want to be. I'm too old to be the person helping somebody move.
I've never been fortunate or had enough stuff kind of at the same time to like kind of warrant like movers coming in. I know that Jeff, you kind of like a white glove sort of.
Yeah.
Oh, you know. So
I
like
bet he buys his own boxes too.
money boxes over here, but like so everything like I've as a real man of the people, everything I've done, I've moved myself
Yeah.
or whatever, lugged and mattresses and all that stuff, and like I've always relied on the kindness of pickups.
Unrelated.
Yeah.
Back in the 90s, when WWF had basically every wrestler had an occupation,
Okay.
it was like a plumber or a repo man.
All right.
How come there wasn't a tag team that were movers?
Movers.
It would have been perfect. They could have backed the van up to the ring, brought mattresses out, put them on the outside the ring, and then thrown their guys onto the mattresses.
That would have been great.
Would have been great.
Oh, this is awesome.
Missed opportunity.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know how that didn't
That
happen.
team would never have won the tag team belt.
No, of course not.
In other
That would
cities,
what a great job to invent wrestlers from the 80s and 90s that would never have won anything significant.
Right.
This is the greatest tag team you could think of. Oh, they must have done. Oh no, they just kind of got beat up all the time by the Bushwhackers or whatever.
Right.
I don't even know I don't think the Bushwhackers ever won a belt.
No.
No, never. Yeah.
No, of course not.
the butter churners, did they do very well? No.
Churn a lot of butter.
Churn a lot of butter.
Hit a lot of people with
Their churn.
a wooden spatula or whatever.
A lot of happy fans who brought bread to the
The sommeliers. They were my favorite wrestling team
Yeah.
in France.
There was a lobster team that they fought against where there was a lot of tasty shellfish consumed. I love the branding around movers now. It seems like you can get like the fancy pants or you can get heavy metal movers. You know, it's like Animal and the other Muppets show up.
We hate you movers.
We hate you
we'll
movers.
fight you at the end.
Or it's two nice Jewish boys in a truck, you know, or two college kids in a this, two out of work mimes in a truck. The themed movers.
We should.
The problem with the
Richard,
mime.
Richard.
The problem with the mime movers is all they're doing is picking up stuff that doesn't actually exist.
Move our stuff. Look, I know this imaginary thing is heavy. We don't own a plate of glass. How do you guys always have a plate of glass?
You were saying, Michael?
Oh, well, we should be like the podcast movers.
Podcast.
There
mover.
we go.
Where we're just talking incessantly at the people that we're helping move.
Our personal opinions about everything.
About all their stuff.
All their stuff.
What's on the Mount Rushmore of your stuff?
We're
I'll
going to
tell you.
rank all of the crap that you're moving. This box is way too heavy. This is on the Mount Rushmore of heaviest boxes I've ever lifted and moved.
Mark Maron didn't complain last week. All right, so hey, we're gonna have time, and we're gonna invite you to move some podcasts from the World Wide Web or the podcast aggregator onto your listening device and listen to us. We'd love if you also rate and review past episodes or any present episodes or any episodes.
Hey, if you're listening on Spotify, they've recently added a way for you to rate podcasts on
Have they?
Spotify,
Oh.
which did not exist before.
Oh,
Right.
So if you're listening on Spotify, go ahead and do that because we would appreciate it because it really does help other people find the show.
that would be awesome. And then join us in the conversation on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. We'd love to know your opinions about past episodes and give us some inspiration for topics for future episodes. Past people who did this have ended up being on the show. We've invited them. You don't have to be, but it's a cool experience, and you get nothing. But the love and affection and envy of your peers and family.
Yeah, your heart will be like the Grinch's heart. Definitely grow 3 sizes.
Inflammation, horrible inflammation, horribly 10 times inflamed. The Grinch got sexy. The Grinch, like there was like some
Wait, what?
Instagram. I saw some like Instagram hotties dressing up like the sexy Grinch. Like what happened to Grinch that he kind of? I feel like he kind of blew up this year.
I'm worried about Jeff, Richard.
I'm always
What?
worried.
A lot of time
What
alone.
are you
A
looking
lot of time alone. I didn't try to look at Sexy
He's
Grinch.
sitting there like, why do I keep finding this? Hashtag sexy Grinch. Oh, it keeps showing up on my feed. Hashtag Grinch.
Oh, why does this keep showing up? I didn't choose this. Okay, Richard Manfredi.
All right, my third one is when the movers break something.
Oh, wow.
Always awkward.
Good choice.
Awkward. When we moved to our house, the movers for some reason decided that our refrigerator, that the has the bottom, the freezer's in the bottom. It's one of
Okay.
those, I can't remember what they call it. It has like the French doors, and then the
Okay.
freezer's on the bottom. For whatever reason, they decided that the best course of action was to try to remove the entire bottom shelf
Oh, no.
before they packed everything up. And then they managed to forget how they put it together.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Well, you
I
shouldn't
possibly
have
lost a couple of parts along the way, too.
Yeah. You shouldn't have hired the forgetful dumbass moving company.
The amnesia movers. Two amnesiacs who move stuff. Those guys. And
At the end of the day, okay, how much do we pay you guys? What? $100.
pay us for what? Yeah, and it was just infuriating because these are, it was a recommendation. Someone else had recommended them because they had used them when they had moved. But you don't really know anything about these guys. You don't know how
Yeah.
credible they are, how skilled they are. And when something goes wrong like that, it's just,
Yeah.
you're breaking my stuff. And then it's like, do I try and get a discount from them? Do I not tip? What do I do? You want everything to go well, so that way there's no social awkwardness. That's always my thing.
Yeah.
I don't really care if the stuff gets broken or not. I just want to avoid the social awkwardness.
Yeah.
And now that you've broken something, the compact is broken.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know how to treat you anymore.
About 12 years ago, well, I used to work in the facilities department for my company, and we moved like our huge office from one place, kind of around the corner to another. But it was a big kind of 3-day move, and a lot of furniture, a lot of stuff didn't get moved over, like they were pre-built cubicles, but like all the executive furniture was like getting moved over, and the furniture moving company comes in and they, swear up and down that everything's going to be padded. And they lay the cardboard on the floor, and like the walls are going to be whatever. And the CEO's desk and tables, all this stuff is going to be handled just so precisely. And of course, all of like the CEO stuff like got dinged, and broken and damaged and whatever. And then it's just like, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how like wealthy you try to treat, some bad thing is going to happen.
Yeah.
It just does. That's the nature of trying to move big, heavy pieces of wood from one place to another. Conference tables got broken and just whatever, and it's going to be, that's $2,000 to repair that or whatever. And I don't know. What are you going to do? And what are you going to blame the 19-year-old kid that's just like humping around heavy pieces of wood on a Friday night at 10 o'clock? It's off. I mean,
Not his aspiration, where the kid's like, you're going to get fired. Thank you. Really? Please? That's another job where it's kind of a rich man, poor man thing. Like, I don't know if I was joking about sacking groceries, because that was like my first job. And, you're young, bright-eyed, it's your first paid job, maybe outside of mowing a lawn or something like that. And if you're lucky, the manager comes up and says, "Hey, kid, you're doing great. You've got a future in this business." And then you look over, and the other guy sacking groceries is a crack addict who just got out of like a halfway house. Like that guy,
your bar is so low.
Your bar is so low. Like what about that guy? Does that guy have a few? He just got out of prison for murdering somebody.
And what's your future? What's your? You're gonna work your way up to head. Of stocking.
Yeah, it's head of stocking produce or assistant butcher, or like what is your thing? And the mover guy's got to be just like that. Like, is the reward more of doing this? Yeah. They don't want it. All right, okay.
Good choice, Richard.
Yes, and Winfield the third.
My third choice is taking pictures of your old, weird, empty space.
Oh, wow.
That you used to have, like, filled with your stuff that is now just some empty apartment with kind of, like, dingy carpeting.
Yeah.
And you kind of left things mostly put back together and as clean as you possibly can, but as kind of clean as you want to leave it.
Yeah.
Like, there's definitely that moment where you're just like, I've done enough.
Yeah.
I've put in my time here, and now I'm just going to take my last pictures to see. It's kind of proof to the landlord or whatever. You're just kind of like, oh, wistfully walking around, and then you're like, bye.
Yeah.
I'm out of here. But, like, I definitely, as many places I can remember, tried to take pictures of what it was like when I was leaving.
Yeah.
It was like the last ones, and it's a strange thing because you come into a place and it looks kind of brand new and fresh, and then you leave it and it's just like, a person's lived there for however long, and you just leave a mark on it. Like, I remember like when Emily and I were moving into our place that we've been in now for 10 years now. I can't believe we've been there 10 years. I had pictures and everything looked so clean and open and fresh. And that's the same thing, is like your pictures of a new place that you're moving into has so much promise, and then you leave it and you're just like, on that last day you're just like, okay, well, I guess this is as clean as I want to get it. It's never good because it's going to be repainted.
Yeah.
Especially if you live in like an apartment or even a house, whatever house I'm sure you move into, or the landlord or whoever owns it, or you're going to pay to repaint it or whatever. It's just going to look different from when you leave, and it just has a different feeling, and you're just like, oh, this is it.
As a kid, we moved around a lot, and I don't think I knew this. As an adult, I realized I like austerity. Like, I don't like a lot of furnishings. I don't like a lot of stuff on the wall, because I remember on moving day when all our stuff was out of the house, I remember looking and going, now I want to live here. It's not full of our shitty thrift store furniture and crap. It's actually just like, there's actually a flow. Yeah, it actually seems like it's not compact and claustrophobic anymore. I tend to, if I could decorate any way, it would be Apple Store modern. Is I just like
less stuff the better.
Less stuff and just kind of clean and white and spare and a lot of
weird.
shiny surfaces.
I moved a bunch of times as like a kid too, or at least 3 or 4 times. I don't have like a memory of like moving day itself, of moving. I don't know if it's just one of those things where it's been blocked out, or maybe my memory as a kid isn't like, it's not great in those terms. Like I remember my first comic book, but I can't remember.
Yeah.
I can't remember like these big monumental moving into like this apartment or this house or whatever.
Huh.
I don't know.
Yeah, they probably told me get the hell out of here. don't be in the way of everything. Okay. Have either of you moved older relatives at all, or like?
No.
Oh.
I have. Me and my dad helped move my grandparents maybe about 15 or so years ago, from like, they lived up in Morro Bay and we moved them down to Santa Barbara.
Okay.
Yeah.
My
A lot of stuff.
parents moved, and unfortunately I wasn't able to help. My sister was there, my brother was there, and my dad had a career for many years, 30 plus years as a printer, and he acquired some of the production tools to do that job that existed before digital technology. So like big cameras and big things that are used to burn images onto metal plates that you then use to print, actually put on offset printer, put the ink on. So he had all these things that were extremely valuable by the year 1991. And then the PC revolution digitized all the production tools for printing. And so they're absolutely pieces of shit that nobody wanted by 1992. And it was like the equivalent of having like 4 VW bugs taking up your garage the whole time we ever lived in this house. And he took them to the next house. You just couldn't get rid of them, and nobody wanted them. But now we got these huge metal things that you couldn't get rid of. But in his heart, he knew they were of value at some point. So it was tough for him to separate from those things. But they were just full of dirt and dust and yeah. Okay, the final choice, Mad Freddy.
All right, my final choice is the moment when you realize I should have got professional help for this. It will happen at some point during that last day of the move. Maybe you decided I don't need movers. I got my buddy. He's got his truck.
Yeah.
I got Jeff. Jeff does CrossFit. He can lift stuff.
Yeah, he's dumb. But
He can
strong back, weak mind.
Exactly. He's the strong man. He's got his little leopard print,
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
singlet sort of
Singlet,
thing.
yeah.
Or maybe, and this is the thing that we wound up doing in our last move that we did do that I am so grateful for is we hired one of those junk removers.
Oh.
It was the 1-800-GOT-JUNK people
Oh, wow.
to do our garage.
It wasn't just a man with a big penis showed up.
That's 888.
Oh, they got junk. Okay.
888 inches. Got junk. Because we had just even after we had moved all the stuff out of the garage, we had half a garage worth of just detritus.
Wow.
And I also explained it, just junk.
Yeah.
Stuff we didn't need anymore, old boxes,
Yeah.
blankets that had been peed on by rats or whatever.
Oh, wow.
Who knows, been chewed at, gnawed on by
Yeah.
various rodents that had been living in our garage. And it's really hard to find a way to get rid of trash here in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I grew up, you had a county dump, and you could just take everything to the county dump.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't seem to be the case here in Los Angeles. I don't know where bulk trash is supposed to go. I haven't figured it out yet.
Yeah.
So we called these guys, and it wasn't cheap, but they charge by the truckload. Like if you do half a truck, it's this much. If you fill up a quarter of a truck, it's this much. And yeah, it is literally like in the commercial. These guys aren't sponsors, but if you want to be a sponsor, please reach out to us. It was literally just here's all the stuff that needs to go. Knock yourselves out. And they just started going in there and just picking up handfuls of stuff and just throwing it in the truck, and took them about an hour, and it was like an hour and a half later, my garage was empty.
Yeah.
It was done.
Yeah.
If I tried to do that, that would have been a whole weekend
Yeah.
of me loading stuff up in my friend Brian's pickup truck probably or something.
Yeah.
And even if I could find a place to dump it, it would have been 10 to 12 trips. It would have just been like back and forth forever.
Yeah.
So there is that feeling of like I am in over my head.
Yeah, sure.
I think in that last day of the move, everyone gets that moment of like, what am I doing here? We're never going to get... I have to be out of here by today, and there is no way this is happening. And why didn't I hire somebody to help me?
I had a friend I was in a show with, and he asked us to come. He asked the whole cast, "Can you just come over and help us move?" And my biggest peeve is, I will help you move your stuff, but I'm not going to box it up for you. Like that's
Sure, that's your job.
That's your job. And not only that, none of the stuff was in boxes. The house was basically just a mess. All the stuff was on the ground, on the floor of the house. And he was also trying to sell us stuff. Hey, do you want to buy this? Like these action figures? Like,
amazing.
I don't want to buy. I don't even want to help you box. I don't want to help you move. I don't want to buy any of your shit. So you just let me know when you're ready to help, because you asked me to help you move, not
box.
That's a different thing. It's a different thing.
That's packing.
Do you think also having another person, like, it seemed like you'd already identified the stuff that was going to go,
right?
But for some reason, it's almost like helpful having a surrogate to kind of come.
Oh, sure. There's people you can hire. I looked this up. There are people you can hire who are just like moving experts.
Yeah. Who
will come in and basically will do all of the packing for you and will help you decide what to keep and what to get rid of. And you just basically hands off and sit there and say, yeah, we need to keep that, or I would like to keep that, but I'm not sure. And they'll go, well, do you really need this?
Yeah.
So there's a person for every job.
Yeah.
In the moving process.
Yeah.
You just need to know what your weak points are, what your blind spots are, and act accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah, and if you're moving, usually you don't have the finances to get those people if you're moving under the cover of night to avoid imminent eviction anyhow.
True.
Yeah.
Which is what most of my moves.
Yep. Yeah. Winfield's rippity wrap up.
My last choice is you are not going to have a better slice of pizza or a better can of beer.
Oh yeah.
Like near the end of like.
Oh, yeah.
Sure.
You're just you're getting pizza. That's the thing.
Yeah.
You're in your new place. You're not cooking. You're not doing anything. You're just pizza's easy to share with however many people are helping to move or whatever. Sometimes you're buying pizza for like if they're like. If there's like a crew that's helping out or movers, sometimes you buy dinner for the movers as well, or like for our business. Certainly, I remember we did that a couple different times. But like just you've been sweating and lifting all day. You're moving. You're exhausted mentally and physically, and just like you're just never gonna have like a better slice of pizza or like a better beer that you're just like you're wiped, and you're just like, oh, thank God for this just hot slab of cheese and bread and sauce and grease. You're just like, this is the lifeblood. This is what movers are built on. It's just like cramming these calories and just replenishing.
Or do you ever say, "Who wants salad and tomato juice?"
I got hummus.
I got hummus.
The only thing you have to avoid is like getting to the point where you're like sitting down for too long.
Yeah.
Because then you're just not getting up.
Yeah.
You're not putting the stuff away that you thought you were going to put away you're like, okay, I need to get at least the kitchen quasi-functional for the next morning.
Yeah.
Like always just set up the coffee maker for the next day just beforehand, get whatever. Because there's a point where you're not going back. You're so wiped. You're just like, oh, forget it. I'll just sleep here on this couch that's missing 3 of the 4 cushions.
My wife is a very social person, and when we've invited a few times, it seems like we've invited people to help us move, she always ends up getting a conversation, standing out by the truck for about 30 minutes. What are you doing, lady? Grab and go. Grab and go. Grab and go. Well, I was busy saying hi to our new neighbors. Come on, hustle it up. We also had that thing where you meet your new. Sometimes a thing where you don't meet your new neighbors until you're moving in. Then it's like, oh boy, we got crazy people next door or something like that.
Meanwhile, your neighbors are like, oh, you see the guys who just moved in? Crazy people moving in.
Crazy people moving in. Oh, well, I have had a fun time recording with you guys here in this facility.
We're not. By the way, we're not stopping recording.
No, absolutely
so
not.
we're clear.
Yeah, with this. Until we get to pasta. Until we get to
pasta shapes.
4 choices that we match exactly, and then 1 more in pasta shapes, and then we're done.
Well, each of you are raising the next generation of Mount Rushmore host. So, right, you have.
Well, we've already had Vivian on as a guest.
Vivian on
judge
as a guest.
one time, yeah, and I'm sure Felix will be guest judging soon.
Yeah, and
I've been trying to explain what a podcast is to him, and I don't think it's going to.
Not taking.
I tell him that Daddy does his little radio show with his 2 best friends, and we sit around and we talk. What do you talk about? I tell him I say we talked about the zoo. He knows that. He doesn't know some of the more mercurial conversation topics that we've had.
Does he give you an eye roll, or does he do the index finger to the temple twirling gesture like Daddy crazy?
No, he kind of just goes, oh. Then turns back to whatever Lego thing he's putting together.
Yeah. All right. That's like a valid response. So this has been the Mount Rushmore of Moving Day. The winning choices are buying boxes, realization of how much crap you have, movers break something, moments you realize you need professional help, last big box, friends with a truck, pictures of the house after you vacate, and pizza and beer. Those are the winners.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jeff's copping out.
He's copping out.
He's done.
Yeah.
I'm going to give us both 10 points.
Okay.
And by the way, Michael, I believe congratulations are in order.
Oh.
I believe that with that 10 points, you are the winner.
Hold on. Wait, I got to...
He's the wiener?
Season 8.
He gets the belt, wherever that is. Season 8?
6.
Season 6.
Starting season 7.
Wow.
Just
No.
That's where we get the cute,
yeah, that's right. This was season 6.
the toe-headed sidekick, Cousin Oliver.
Cousin Oliver shows up. Yeah.
We could also invite anybody within earshot who wants to start a podcast called the Mount Rushmore Podcast. Just go ahead.
Yeah, because other people do.
Other people do.
They just start Rushmore podcast or the podcast of Rushmores.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want to do. Doesn't matter. We'll outlive you.
Yeah.
Because we're just stubborn and we don't have anything better to do.
Our mediocrity will trump your youth and exuberance any day.
Do you know it's really precious if you see like some other Rushmore podcasts? They all start the same way we did. It's all like, Mount Rushmore of wrestlers, Mount Rushmore,
Yeah.
same dopey ass
Same
geek
dumb.
topics, same things, exact same things. You go through the first 7, you stick with us. You'll get to the nitty gritty.
Yeah. We'll get to the tertiary, 4th tier DC villains.
We are the Legion of Superheroes.
Yeah. We are like adult kickball team names, like the Baller Balls, the balls in your face, balls.
That's how they start, and then you get into. I don't have a good way.
Esoteric ones, yeah.
Yeah.
This has been the Mount Rushmore podcast, the Mount Rushmore of Moving Day, with the last one coming from the Criswell Studios. I, as always, am Jeff.
I'm Richard.
I'm Michael.